Hello and welcome to my course on PowerShell DSC. And in this section, we'll have a look into the enterprise implementation of PowerShell DSC on Microsoft Hybrid Cloud Platform, that is Microsoft Azure. We'll have a look into the Azure Resource Manager and how using Azure Resource Manager templates, we can provision resources in an Azure subscription. Moving forward, we'll see how using ARM, the new APIs, and the Azure portal, provision and manage Azure resources. We'll see how using Visual Studio project templates, we can create, edit, and manage ARM templates and define our Azure infrastructure as code. Also, how we can provision Azure virtual machines in Azure Resource Group using code from release management in Visual Studio Team Services. In this video, we'll have a look into the Azure Resource Manager. We'll start with an introduction to Azure Resource Manager. We'll also see the differences between the classic deployment model in Azure, that is Azure Service Management, and Azure Resource Manager, and later the benefits of using Azure Resource Manager over the classic model. The Azure Resource Manager is a service that is used to provision resources in your Azure subscription. Resources for an application are made up of multiple components like virtual machines, storage accounts, virtual networks, databases, etc. As application development or maintenance teams, you don't want to see or manage these resources separately. Instead, they need to be treated as related, interdependent parts of a single entity. Azure Resource Manager enables teams to work with the resources that can be deployed, managed, and monitored as a single group. Using Azure Resource Manager, you can now define your infrastructure in a template format, which can work for different environments like testing, staging, and production. Before diving into the details and benefits of ARM, let's have a look into the difference between the classic deployment model and the Azure Resource Manager model of deploying resources in Azure. Azure Service Model is also termed as Classic Deployment Mode. The classic resource can be provisioned and managed using the Azure Classic portal, which can be reached at manage.windowsazure.com or from the new portal, portal.azure.com. In ASM model, a cloud service is provisioned for every ease workload and pass workloads. Cloud service allows you to host highly available and scalable applications. For example, every virtual machine deployed in ASM should be placed inside a cloud service. You can deploy multiple VMs inside a cloud service. The cloud service can be accessed from outside using a virtual IP. A virtual IP is nothing but a public IP assigned to a cloud service which has the default URL in the format your cloud service name.cloudapp.net. To access the virtual machines in a cloud service, you need to use the endpoint on the virtual machine that connects to the virtual IP address. As you can see, this model implies that each resources should be managed individually, as classic model does not allow grouping of resources, which makes managing Azure resources much difficult. Now, in Azure Resource Manager, the deployment model allows you to work in groups. You can deploy, update, or delete all resources in your solution in a single coordinated operation. When you deploy using the ARM, all the resources that includes storage accounts, virtual machines, load balancers, IP addresses are all included inside a container called as the resource group. Now let's see what are the benefits of using ARM instead of the classic model. The ARM portal has a logic container called as resource group, which makes deployment, management, and monitoring of Azure resources easy and streamlined. In classic portal, there were no proper grouping of resources, which will lead the user to search for individual resources that make up his or her solution. In ARM portal, however, resources that make up a solution can be grouped together in a resource group for easy management. Fine-grained access control using RBAC on all resources in resource group is possible with the ARM deployment model. By role-based access control or RBAC, it's easy to provide granular access control to resources deployed to a resource group. Earlier, using the Azure Service Management, this was not possible. You can now restrict users to certain resource or groups using role-based access control to provide access to the certain resources or the entire portal. Deployment using JSON-based deployment template is possible on Azure Resource Management. Using the templates, now you can repeatedly deploy solutions throughout the development lifecycle, hence ensuring that we have a consistent deployment across multiple environments. For example, we can now use the TFS tasks in the release pipeline to ensure that before deploying the applications to an environment, the environment is in the desired state defined in the latest template definition. Azure Resource Manager allows you to define dependencies between resources so they are deployed in the correct order. Azure Resource Manager SDKs are available for multiple languages and platforms. These include Java, Python, Go, and Ruby SDKs. Each of these language implementations are available through their ecosystem package managers and GitHub. For example, the SDK for .NET is provided as a set of NuGet packages. The SDK for Go can be installed through GoGet, and the Azure platform is completely accessible via the REST API.